PogChamp, that was an intro song if I've ever heard one. Welcome to the final week of season 7, right?
Season 7.
Welcome to the
Season
final
six.
week of
Season
season 6, THL.
Season 6.
I mean, they run together, man. I can't keep track. I'm Cassidy14. We're hosted by MV Parker. The anarchist himself is here licking his wounds. And, of course, Tim from Tim's Tavern Talk has decided to join us. How's everybody doing?
Oh, doing good.
Hello.
Doing good, guys. How about you?
I'm excited. We're down to 2. We started
Finals.
with 20, and we now have 2 teams remaining.
We got there.
So let's go over our drinking rules really quick. You got to drink for finals hype. You need to pour one out for your homies that got eliminated. And you got to drink for Hearthstone, the greatest game of all time that we all love so very, very much.
That's great drinking rules right there, if I do say so myself.
Without further ado, let's get into the recap. Let's see what happened in the semifinals. Our number 1 matchup here saw Dirty Mike and the boys getting their filth all over the Temporal Legends. Anarchist, how about you walk us through here? What happened?
Oh, first, hold on. I got a clip that I think just will sum up Anarchist's feelings to an absolute T of how he feels. So I'm gonna play this real quick.
Or who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Alright, I think that probably just has to sum Anarchist's feelings up to an absolute T.
They are who we thought they were. No, I mean it was close. We swing one match another way. Maybe we were in the finals, but it didn't go that way. I was pretty nervous going in after losing to Cody 2 weeks earlier, but I managed to pull it out. Hector had some games against Lefty.
3 to be exact.
Exactly 3, yeah. And Mbok and Phoebus that they tried pretty hard.
They did a lot better. They each got to play 4.
Yeah, they it was not as close as I expected, but I mean if you flip one of those series around, it's another story. So yeah, it is what it is. They prepped really well. They definitely they came prepared. So watch out, HSA, because they're coming.
I have to ask, because now we're in hindsight. You and Phoebus both brought the priest, and Hector Howell brought Hunter. Can you talk to us about why specifically, if you know why the hell was there a Hunter?
I know Hector was feeling pretty good about the Hunter. I didn't dissect his matchups all that well, but I know he was feeling the Hunter going in. It had been doing okay for him. Obviously, it didn't work out. And then for me and Phoebus with the priest, we were just kind of looking at our matchups, and we just decided that priest was going to do okay. Me and Cody had a really long priest mirror to end our series. So, the priest worked out for me. I don't remember what Phoebus got his win with. Yeah, it was definitely a close series. I like my priest. It was fun. I like that deck. Sorry, Johnson.
Looking at this series, it brought back some good old memories of Temporal Legends in seasons past. We got some inexplicable deck choices. We've got Hector and Imbolc getting rolled right over, and we've got Loch Ness H and one other key member pulling out a win. I guess history decided to show back up at a bad time here.
Yeah, I mean, all season, we've kind of been, aside from Hector, we were all fairly, around the 500 mark. I was 5-3. I think Phoebus was the highest of it. I think he might have been 4-2. In bulk was just over 500. I think Locke was 4-4 going into it. So like Hector had kind of been our carry all season long. He had the best record. But so we were all kind of around 50-50, and we just fell short, in one of those close games. So, it is what it is. Congrats to Dirty Mike, though. They definitely earned it. They fought hard, so.
All right, so Cassidy, is this how you thought the match would turn out?
In my heart of hearts, you bet it was. Is it what I thought in my brain? No, but you know what? Dirty Mike, they play with the heart of the cards. And that seems like the power of friendship and home ownership is too much for anybody else to overcome.
Tim, going into this, is this how you thought it would turn out?
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm a fan of Dirty Mike. I'm a fan of the boys. I kind of thought they were going to win. They've been a really strong team all season. I'm a big fan of their team composition and strategy. I also got to say, I feel Hector Hal right now. Going 0-3 in the 1 seed in playoffs to lose just feels horrible.
Yeah, I think it's really important to look at their composition and talk about it, but also understand that Lefty is just crushing people in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Like, obviously this lineup's going to work when you got a dude who's just an 80 to 100 PR underdog just getting in there every week at the top of the order. Like, they're unbeatable if he keeps winning, I think. But we can talk about that later. So that was that one. We move on to green.
No, hold on, I got one more question.
Okay.
Going into the season, I don't think anyone would have predicted Dirty Mike to make it all the way to the finals, especially with a team composition like this. They had came in all 300 or all around 300?
We're all around 350, yeah.
Tell me why this team composition works. Explain to everyone why it's working so well. Cassie, we'll start with you. Explain to us why it's working so well.
Well, the low-hanging fruit here is Herder. Hearthstone's not a very hard game, Herder. So if you can steal a win with your PR underdogs up top, and you can just roll over people at the bottom. Because I think I tend to believe that PR differences mean more the lower that the two respective PRs are, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think there's a much bigger difference between a 200 and a 300 player than there is between a 500 and a 400 player. So I think they've kind of played that to their advantage. And then I think you have guys, like I just mentioned, Lefty, who are undervalued by the system still. And so they were able to get those massive favorites at the bottom, and they're not giving up a whole lot at the top to do it either. So I don't see this team being able to stay together much longer. I haven't even done the math. I think they can do one more season even still. Maybe not. No, I think they're definitely over the cap.
They're 40 points over the cap right now.
Yeah. So this was a nice little 1 season deal that they were able to pull off. And I think that's kind of why. I think the lower seeds this season were kind of weak as a whole. And I think that the top in our league is starting to have a lot of parity. And so I think the days of the teams that are able to assemble these massive 1, 2, 3 combinations, I don't think those teams are the favorites anymore. I think Dirty Mike kind of broke the meta there.
Tim, what do you think?
Yeah, just like Cassidy was saying, Lefty and Surlos, despite having lower average PRs than other 1 and 2 seeds, they're just as, at least almost just as competitive as the rest. I mean, we see that here with them in the finals. And yeah, they're not giving up a whole heck of a lot to do that and get such strong players in the 3 through 5 seed. I think it's no wonder they've made it this far.
Anarchist, do you tend to agree?
I mean, I don't know how much the stats back that up. I mean, their bottom hasn't been this dominant force. They've been right above average. They're each one of them's 1 game over 500 if you include the playoffs. Cody and Magic Pants are both 6-5. Eric Hoki's 5-4. Lefty has been the key to their success. He's 7-3 now, I think. And he's just been kind of holding it. The only one and Surlos is 6-5.
What-
So I mean, they're all just over 500. So I mean, I wouldn't say it's like this dominant. It's the whole team.
Wait, wouldn't them being just over 500 exactly mean that the bottoms went dominant? Because you win,
Yeah, because you win and move up.
you win, you move up, you lose, you come back down, and you keep flip flopping. So everyone's going to be about a little over 500.
Yeah, we'd have to find a way to sort the spreadsheet by seed each week. Because I
imagine
think that
that's why.
theory
but
holds some weight.
I mean, if we're talking about their team comp, I mean, that's losing those middle seeds. I mean, that's like
No, they're losing
Cody's
the top
lost quite a
seeds.
few matches in the 5 seed. Because he's been in the 5 seed pretty regular. They've kind of bottomed out now. They've been fairly consistent. But yeah, we could go back and look at that. But I think it's just the whole team is just solid. Lefty's had a heck of a season, and everyone else has been really, really solid. So I would like to go back and look at some stats and see, where their losses were and stuff like that.
Yeah, I tend to agree with what you guys said. I think that they're not giving up very much in the top to be fairly dominant in the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, Lefty started out in the 4 seed.
Yeah.
And Eric Hokie started out in the 1 seed. So I mean, there's so much going on with this team. It's hard to track that stuff.
All right, let's move on to next week's matchup. Last week we had Hearthstone Academy play Team Golden Wisp, and HSA took them down 14-10. Some might say down goes Frazier.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
It's pretty surprising, I would say, that Golden Wisp lost. At least personally for me, they've been so dominant all season.
Yeah, I really thought they were the favorites going in, and even like Asuna got the win, and she seemed like the only real question mark. But hats off to Brewski and Blue Sombrero for going 8-1 between the two of them against, in my opinion, two of the best players in the league that happen to be on the same team.
Yeah.
And I remember we saw that last week on Tavern Talk, right? Brewski got the sweep over Fly Slay, and I think you and Mainge both said then that was probably the series, because that was, like, if you look down the line, it was probably going to shake out a certain way, and that's how it shook out. I think Bork's win is huge too, looking back.
Yeah.
That's a big win. Sunshine's had a really good 2-season stretch here, and Bork was able to beat him pretty solid.
Yeah, it was the 1 seed was a really big deal in this matchup. I'm pretty sure it shook out the exact opposite way I predicted it. So Hearthstone predictions. But I think Blue Sombrero over Double O's is huge. Like, even though we saw the Brewski versus Fly Sly right on Thursday, Blue Sombrero over Double O's, like, that was huge. So I mean, this whole series was really interesting to watch. Surprising none of them went to 5. Did that surprise any of you guys? Like, it seemed like each matchup was kind of pretty one-sided.
Tim, what do you think?
Swag always had the pleasure of playing Team Golden Wisp twice now. And I think it's either been a stomp in our favor or a stomp in their favor. So not seeing games go to 5 doesn't really surprise me.
What did you think about the match in general? Is this how you would have saw it shaken out?
I was secretly hoping Fly Slay would get swept. But honestly, since they took us down, it's only natural for me to want them to go all the way and win everything. You always want to say that the team that knocked you out ended up winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I was rooting for them, but it just didn't happen.
Okay, so at the start of the season, if I had told you after all the roster changes that HSA had at the beginning of the season that they'd be in the finals and have a chance to repeat their success, would you have believed me? Is that how you would have thought it was going to shake out?
No, and in defense of that, they did make some mid-season changes that saved their season.
They did.
Sage stepped away, Scritch stepped away. Blue Sombrero wasn't on the team to start the season, was he?
JB stepped down.
Yep, JB stepped away. Like, I mean, the newcomers really saved the season here for HSA. Blue Sombrero appears to be really good. Zemus, I can't really figure him out. And I remember they signed Bork. Bork is just kind of a known entity at this point. You know, he's going to win about as much as he loses. He's going to win matches that you don't think he's going to win. But yeah, I think the blue sombrero signing in hindsight is what looks really good. And Brewski just continues to be really freaking good at Hearthstone.
Yeah, he's definitely really good. Anarchist, is this how you would have saw it?
No, I mean, you look at the beginning of the season, people are, giving HSA their dues for winning finals. And then you look about midway through the season and they're struggling hard, and they had to fight to get here. So I don't think anyone would have expected that they were going to make this run back. It's like once all these roster changes come in, you see them at the bottom and they're way behind in points. So I don't think anyone could say they expected this, but they've obviously got a good captain, keeping them together and keeping them fighting. So I wouldn't say it was expected, but it's not all that surprising to me, knowing how much they care about Hearthstone and THL in general. So not the most surprising, but definitely not expected.
Right.
Didn't say that regarding their playoff spot. The X gave it to them.
Oh my god. Tim, would you have predicted them in the finals?
No. After all the changes and their impressive season and victory last season, I didn't think it was going to happen again because of all the changes. But yeah, it's something to be said for their captain.
Yeah.
I think it's really impressive that they managed to get to the finals 2 seasons in a row with all the adversity they've had to go through.
Yeah, I don't think I definitely know I wouldn't have had them there. I think in my preseason power rankings I had them like 9th or something, and then mid-season they were looked like really far out of it. So good for them for proving us all wrong and running it back. So Cassidy, as someone that's been in a bunch of THL playoffs and made some fairly deep runs, explain to us how hard it is to make it to the finals 2 seasons in a row.
Dude, it's unreal. Look and see if anybody's ever done it since we moved to like 16 plus teams, because I don't think they have.
Yeah, I'm not sure anyone has either.
There's so much uncontrollable element to a card game, in Hearthstone in particular, on top of a PR cap, on top of life getting in the way of shit like Hearthstone leagues. Like, it's really hard to maintain the dedication, to stay on top of the game, to have certain things fall your way. And here they are again with kind of the same core intact. Like, super hats off. Like, this is where you see that Sage, and I think Tim just brought it up, Sage has to be like one of the best captains in the league, because they have to have some sort of incredible team culture going on. Because like, playing in this league and trying to win in this league is fucking exhausting mentally. Like, it just takes it out of you, and they've done it. They're back again, and I want to see them win, because I want to see a repeat champion for the first time ever.
Well, let's get right into it. Let's start talking about the finals. Hype it up. Finals hype. So we got Dirty Mike versus HSA. So HSA's got the possibility to be the first repeat champion ever. They have overcame adversity of team changes, not only in the offseason due to PR cap, but mid-season even. They swapped out 3 different spots, I'm fairly sure. And they were way out of the playoffs with only a few weeks left, and they managed to claw back and barely sneak in. Then on the other side, you've got Dirty Mike and the boys. It's their first ever season in THL. They have probably one of the most interesting roster compositions you'll ever see, all coming in around 300. That their captain owns a home, and they played in one of the most stacked conferences I've ever seen.
I do want to say, I'm willing to bet that less captains in THL own a home.
Sorry, you cut out. What'd you say?
You guys think it's over or under 33%? So 1 out of 3 THL captains own a home. I bet you it's less.
Under, yeah, for sure.
What a fucking god.
This is an awesome finals, because like either way, it's a big deal, Dirty Mike comes in here, changes the way we think about constructed teams. HSA breaking, sort of the can it be done in Hearthstone? There's so much variance, but being able to repeat, like, this is awesome. I cannot wait to see these matches. I know a lot of them are going to be streamed, so I'm pumped.
This is gonna be dope.
Dope. All right, so let's get the predictions. Put your money where your mouth is. Line it up.
Let's go match by match here.
All
We
right.
got, and I'm gonna do this absolutely non-analytically whatsoever. So I'll let you guys all go first. Lefty versus Brewski. We don't have classes. Who do you think wins?
Okay, I'll start it off.
Brewski.
Yeah, I'm Brewski.
I'm Brewski as well. He's a really good player.
Yeah, I just don't see Brewski losing this one. Lefty's had an incredible season, and I think Lefty will be able to keep it close, which is all his team really wants. You know, if he takes it to 5, I think Dirty Mike takes that every time they take their 2 points and they move on. And I think he can do that, but I don't think he gets over the hump here and beats Brewski.
I'm gonna pick Brewski because I think if I were to take a shot with each of these guys, Brewski would choose better alcohol.
There you
We
go.
move on to the 2 seed. We have Eric Hockey at 406 against Blue Sombrero at 449. Who do you think's gonna win and why?
See Parker? Or no, Tim. Tim, start us off.
Yeah, I'll start this off. I think Arakoki is going to win. Switching it up a little bit. I had the pleasure of casting a couple of his games on Salty Saturdays and whatnot, and man, he makes some plays. So I'm going with him.
Anarchist, how about you?
Which one are we picking from here? Blue Sombrero or Arakoki?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm giving this one to Arakoki. For sure.
Yeah, I'm also going to give it to Eric Oki solely on the reason that he owns a home.
I think Eric Hockey would have better taste in TV shows. I pick him to win.
All right, so next we got Surlos and Yellow Dart. Casty, what do you think? Lead us off.
I don't know anything about Yellow Dart. I don't know anything about Surlos either, I'll be honest. Neither one of these guys is around a whole lot. But I do think that if a good emo song came on,
God.
Yellow Dart would sing along with me. So I'm going to pick him.
I love the way you're deciding this stuff.
All right, Tim.
It's hard to make a decision with all that bias there.
Yeah, true.
Gotta go with Surlos there. I think Yellow Dart's kind of the unknown in this formula. But Surlos is fairly consistent, if I'm recalling that correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Surlos has had a good season, but I got to go with my boy Yellow Dart. He puts in work in Hearthstone. It would not surprise me one bit to see him come out with a big win. He was on my SHL team and he was really solid, so I'm giving it to my boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go the other way. I think I like Surlos in this matchup. He's had a really solid season, and Yellow Dart's just a real big fat question mark. So I think I'm gonna go with the guy who I know is consistently above average, and I think he'll bring it home.
Fun fact: Yellow Dart's at DreamHack.
Oh, attaboy.
Yeah.
I like Surlos even more now.
It's that distraction factor.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, he'll get there.
All right, next matchup we got Magic Pants and Bork. Bork is around an 80-point underdog, PR wise. Okay, Tim, lead us off.
You know, we were talking a little bit before this, and I don't know anything about Bork, even though you mentioned that he's pretty well known. I like Magic Pants' name. Going with him.
Oh, attaboy. Anarchist.
I'm giving it to Magic Pants. I think he just prepares his butt off, and he's gonna be able to find a way to pull out the wind.
Casty, what do you think?
I think if they were both going to jump off a diving board,
Jesus
Magic
Christ.
Pants would do some lame-ass cannonball thing. And Bork would just land like a 2.5 or into a perfect dive. You know, like you just flip 2.5 times and you hit the water so gracefully. So I'm going to pick Bork.
God dang it.
How big is the splash, though?
It's not big. You want to look sleek and cool. You don't want to be the dad at the pool that's like splashing the kids and they're like, Dad, you got me wet. You don't want that.
God dang
You
it.
want the hot lifeguard to be like, ooh, do that again.
So, again, I think Magic Pants has just had a really solid season this season. Bork, these are the matches, though, it seems like Casty was talking about earlier, that Bork, you don't think he's going to win, and he looks like an underdog, and then somehow he just pulls it
He
off.
wins this every time
So,
in the past.
that being said, I'm still going to pick Magic Pants. I think just an 80 PR difference, and Magic Pants is having such a solid season. I'm going to go with him. That brings us to our last matchup. We got Cody versus Zemus, and Cody is a 100, almost 112 points? 112 point favorite. So, Casty, let's hear, why he likes better mustard.
I didn't put mustard preferences into this consideration. I probably should have. I think I would rather attempt to escape a room in 60 minutes with Zemus, so he's gonna win.
Okay. Tim, what do you think?
Normally I don't take PR into much of a consideration above like 250 PR, but below that point, the discrepancy is there and it's very noticeable. So I'm going with Cody.
Anarchist, how about you?
I haven't just played Cody. I think Cody gets there. He's rock solid. Like he's had a really good season. And Zemus is just a question mark, so it's more of a I don't know if he's capable of pulling off those big upsets yet. So right now I'm going to give it to Cody.
Yeah, I'm also going to give it to Cody. I'm with Tim. Like, normally PR is not that big a deal for me, but when you're talking over 100 and you're talking in the 5 seed, there's a real big gap in skill normally there. So I find it hard to believe that it's not going to be there here. So I'm going to go with Cody. So let's recap it. I've got Dirty Mike and the boys winning. What everyone else have?
Same.
And this one hurts. I don't know who I want to win.
I think I have it to Dirty Mike and the boys. I think I have it with in the middle three. Or no way. Yeah, and the 2, 4, and 5 is what I picked. So I think Dirty Mike gets there.
I'm picking HSA 1 through 5, baby.
Oh, the sweep. Woo! The repeat. Not only the first ever repeats, you're saying they're just going to be the first ever just clean sweep in the finals.
Yep, they're getting in 20 points.
Woo!
I'd love to see that.
I'm picking Dirty Mike, but if I'm going to be wrong, boy, I hope that's how I'm wrong. I would enjoy seeing that. Okay, so now we're on to the Q&A. We have 2 incredible questions because I put this up about 30 minutes before the show. Eric Jones wants to know, pizza or tacos? Tim, we'll start with you.
Why not both?
Mmm.
Smash them together. And then you can all do your stupid debate about whether it's a sandwich or not.
I'm with Tim. What sort of question is this, pizza or tacos? We live in America where I can eat both for the same meal if I want to, and I'm going to do that.
Mark.
Because they're delicious. I could never choose between. That's like having to choose between pizza and tacos. Like, it's horrible. I couldn't do it.
Cassidy, I know you'll have a really well thought out opinion on this.
Thinking about this one here. I think if I can only get tacos, if it's just tacos, I'm picking pizza every time. But if we can expand this a little bit, like, can I make it quesadillas? Can I get chips and queso? Is there guac involved? Once we start going down that road, I lean a little bit more towards my amigos. Because like chips and queso is just the meaning of life. So anytime I can go something that thematically fits chips and queso into it, I'm way more likely to pick that answer. But if it's just tacos, I choose pizza. Because tacos aren't even that great. Like, there's so many other better ways to eat Mexican food.
Yep, I tend to agree. If it's just tacos, I'm not the biggest fan. So I'd go pizza. Also, it depends on the pizza. Like, if there's some solid tacos, and we're talking about, like, Domino's, I'm just going to go with, like, the authentic tacos.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking, like, some of that pizza D. Lineman talks about, that just sounds like heaven on bread, I'm gonna go with that.
I like it.
Next question. Let's see. Casty, ask the next question. I really don't know how to.
Okay. So Alec GW.
Okay.
Well, Alec SW, because Golden Wisp has become the Silver Wisp.
Oh, Bible.
He
thing.
asks, should teams always be able to switch up players in the playoffs like this? Should signing a player also take into account that person's risk when it comes to suspensions? When would you put the free agent signing deadline at? So I'm taking this to ask, Alec is wondering, and he's obviously referring to the Arcturus suspension that was recently announced for this week. He phrases this in a way that, to me, reads if we should even allow teams after a certain point to get to sub a player who gets suspended. If a suspension should be so weighty that it becomes an automatic loss for your team, particularly like here in the final week of like that determines everything. And so I guess his part of that question is when you're signing someone, should you say, hey, this guy might get DQ'd. Do I really want to sign him because it could really hurt my team? I don't like that. I think the league is about getting matches played, and I always try to defer to what other sports leagues would do here. And so when a player in the NBA or the NFL or Major League Baseball or whatever, when they get suspended, they're not just like, oh, you got to play 4-on-5, or oh, you only get to bat 8 people in your lineup tonight, or oh, you only get to play 2 wide receivers. So like I think the penalty is bringing in the unknown entity and somebody who you would think you wouldn't want on your team instead of the person who got suspended. So I don't think I'm in favor of anything that causes a suspension to be an automatic loss.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I agree.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. We're not afforded the luxury of having benches in THL. Our benches, the pool of free agents, and I think it just deprives someone of a chance to play a match. That's sort of what subs are for. That's why we have subs be free agents and not, people on other teams and stuff like that. Like it gives them a chance to get exposure and to play.
You bring up a good point. Is that something THL should look to do in the future? What if you had one bench spot per team? And there was no PR limit on your bench. Like anybody in the league could be on your quote unquote bench. And you get one designated bench, like call it like the bench exception, right? And the only thing that counts against your PR would be the 5 players you choose to play that week.
So what
Just
stops me
spitballing.
from putting Firebat on my bench and getting, Rogue suspended?
Well, you'd still have to fit within the PR cap.
Then what's the point of the bench? Because now I can't use my bench. Right?
Not in your scenario, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if you had one bench spot, you'd have to be picking someone who's basically lower than your 5 seeds PR if he ever wants to fit. And then even then, there's situations with PR where it could move up. Now, I think there is potential for like bench spots or like designated subs. I know some teams have they have practice partners that like have go-to free agents who will come in and sub for them if it fits. I think that's a better scenario. I don't think having like a designated bench spot makes sense. It kind of limits you to like if this team needs a sub, we can if this particular team needs a sub, I'm going to get a chance to play. But I'm fine with the system we have now where teams can just, you can practice with a team, but if you're going to, another team needs a sub, I can go try and play for them, get more exposure. You have more opportunities with our system now for free agents.
Yeah, I do worry about, because every season, the people who don't get a team by this point in the season, 80% of them are completely like checked out or even like given up on having the season. I almost wonder if having a 6th person on every team, even though you're only playing 5, like some people would rather, because they'd still be exposed to the league, but that's probably just wishful thinking.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think being on the bench would make me just like by week 6 or 7, I still haven't played, I would give up and like not care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of raises a bit of an idea to me of like having 6 people available to play, but you can throw 5 in at any point. I don't know. That would take a lot of planning, and it seems like a bit too much. I think it's more important that the captains um, put in the time, do the research, find players, and kind of have that practice partner ready to sub when they need them to.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea of a team having like a 6-person roster, but I would be afraid that like, say a team comes in like right underneath the cap and then they win the first week, and now they can't use that 6-person because they're always going to be over the cap anytime they try and sub. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of issues. How do you guys feel about a free agent signing deadline?
I don't know what that is.
So are you saying like if anyone gets suspended after that signing deadline, you're screwed?
I wouldn't say no, because this is our situation's the one we're current in is a suspension. But let's say something like just Sage switching out for Arcturus in the first place. What that was week 9 that happened, or was that week? Did Arcturus play in week 9? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was week 9. He played in week 9.
So you're saying have a deadline for all roster changes that aren't related to players being suspended?
Yeah. So I mean, that's how I'm going to interpret that question for the sake of the show. What if there was a free agent signing deadline where you couldn't make any permanent changes to your roster?
I don't know. I think you're gonna have a hard time telling someone in a league where like, what if just someone gets busy, they go on vacation, that life happens, they can't make their match. Like now we tell them that they can't sub.
Yeah, and where does that end? They can only, make a temporary substitution for 1 week, and then they have to find a different sub for the next week. I don't know.
Yeah, that's sort of where I'm at. I don't necessarily think. I think it could present issues if you just said if people found ways to just sub out, get to the playoffs, and then sub someone out every week. But I don't think people would ever abuse that. There's just no point. It's a for fun league, and like you said, we have sometimes this has been a 3-month season, 12 weeks. Stuff's gonna come up, life's gonna happen, people are gonna get busy. So I don't think there's really any point in having a free agent signing deadline.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah,
Alright.
that would only exist in a world where after a certain point subs or suspensions can't be subbed.
Yeah, and that seems far too punishing.
Yeah.
But for sure, a good question that raises a lot of very solid discussion.
Yeah, and even the idea that maybe a suspension should also come with a PR hit to the team.
I like that.
So if one of your players gets suspended, you get 50 PR less than their PR to find a new player. But that just seems really punitive toward the team too. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still of a mind
Because it does feel strange that Hearthstone Academy is able to sign according to the BR system, a better player to replace a player that got suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The stress and the headache of finding another player to play for you in the playoffs when you're going, you're trying to run it back, get two victories in 2 seasons. It's a lot to deal with. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Interesting question.
Yeah,
Okay.
anything else?
Yeah. Let's hear parting thoughts. Cassie, we'll start with you.
Good luck to both teams.
Anarchist.
Yeah, good luck. Can't wait to see these matches. I think you have about maybe 2 minutes if you want to be a captain to submit to be a captain in either league. So if you're thinking and you're watching right now, you might want to send that email. And lastly, I think just pay attention to the off season. We got a lot of off season events coming up. Hots nights, I think next week. Just go check out the calendar on the website. There's tons of stuff happening during the off season, so pay attention because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Tim.
Dirty Mike's team owns a house. That means everyone else buys avocados. That means Dirty Mike is favored to win here.
Wow.
But good luck to both teams.
That's a math equation I can get behind. And yeah, that's it. Bye.
Bye.